Hello, and welcome to another Out of the Park series where we waste entirely too much time. Thanks to the fine folks like you, we have a new challenge in the works. I was scrolling through Reddit and found user Pill Clinton, nice name by the way, who was asking if anyone had ever won the World Series in 2019 as the Miami Marlins. Although I know from experience certain teams couldn't despite my best efforts, I've never attempted it with the Marlins, so naturally I took this as a challenge.
Y'all ready for this?
To start this challenge, here is the team strategy and manager options I've chosen. For more of an idea on my methods, check out my decades-long run series. First thing I do is fire everyone on the Major League staff, as well as the assistant GM. The only way this is going to work will be if everything goes right, meaning no injuries or poor coaching, so this was absolutely necessary. By taking on this challenge, we are bestowed owner goals, which normally I wouldn't care about, but this time, I definitely do not care.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That doesn't seem relevant here, Kanye. Before making an endless barrage of trades, I attempt to sign Craig Kimbrell, who apparently has no interest in signing with the Marlins. I've never actually seen this in this game before. He's straight up refusing.
No.
He eventually comes around and I offer him a contract, but he comes back wanting more money. Okay, never mind. I try signing Dallas Keuchel to a 4-year contract worth $68 million, but he wasn't happy with that and I offer him another one worth $85 million over 4 years. Remember, we just need to win this year, doesn't matter how we do it. But alas, he still wants more money in the end, and I give up on this. I make a trade with the Red Sox, sending Brian Holiday, Rosell Herrera, Curtis Granderson, Drew Steckenrider, and a minor leaguer for Heath Hembree, retaining 95%, Matt Barnes, and a minor leaguer. Next, a trade with the Brewers, sending Wei Yin Chen, retaining 55%, JT Riddle, and 3 minor leaguers for Chase Anderson, Jhoulys Chacin, retaining 45%, Orlando Arcia, and 2 minor leaguers. The Rangers agree to a trade, sending over Mike Minor, retaining 10%, Nomar Mazara, and a minor leaguer for Martin Prado, retaining 35%, Austin Bryce, and 2 minor leaguers. I think you're figuring out I'm going to be wiping out the farm system. I make a trade with the Giants, sending Sergio Romo, Starlene Castro, retaining 40%, and 3 minor leaguers for Mark Canha and 4 minor leaguers. But hang on, there's more. I send Neil Walker, Mike Minor, retaining 15%, Mark Canha, and 2 minor leaguers to the Astros for Yuli Gurriel, Robinson Chirinos, and a minor leaguer. Too bad they didn't send over their trash can. The Blue Jays agree to a trade, sending Lourdes Gurriel Jr., John Axford, and a minor leaguer for Garrett Cooper, Tayron Guerrero, and a minor leaguer. Hey, I got 2 brothers on my team. Doesn't that mean I get a stat boost?
Not on your life.
Not done. I make a trade with the Padres, sending Miguel Rojas and a minor leaguer for Joey Lucchesi and Alan Cordova. I always kind of like Lucchesi in this game despite not having a great amount of stamina. And finally, a trade with the White Sox, sending Jorge Alfaro and Nick Neidert for Tim Anderson, retaining 25% and 2 minor leaguers. How many trades was that?
8.
In addition to these trades, I DFA Jose Urena and call up Zach Birdie, Reese McGuire, Nick Anderson, and Jonah Arenado. These are my new pitching assignments to start the season, as well as my lineup. As per tradition in my videos, I play the opening day game, and this is the lineup I used. The idea behind these games is to use our pitching effectively, but 2 things stop that from happening. One being that we had to walk the game off in extra innings, the other being an injury from our starter that, while only turning out to be day-to-day, caused us to use a lot of relievers. Not a great start despite the win. During the month of April, Robinson Chirinos went on a 4-game home run streak.
Epic.
We reached May with a 12-16 record, a .429 win percentage, 3rd in the division. Despite the losing record, we have the best bullpen in the league, which is encouraging. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I demote Trevor Richards and Gabriel Guerrero while calling up Corey Ray and Tommy Eveld. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Riley Farrell is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Chase Anderson is out for 4 weeks. I call up Trevor Richards to replace him. These are my new pitching assignments. We reached June with a 28-27 record, a .509 win percentage, 3rd in the division. Having a winning record is definitely encouraging. Maybe we can pull this off after all. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Angels, sending Lewis Brinson, Jonah Arenado, and a minor leaguer for Trevor Cahill, Cole Calhoun, retaining 95%, and 2 minor leaguers. I don't really want Cole Calhoun, but I need a backup outfielder. I also DFA John Axford, demote Trevor Williams, and call up Riley Farrell and John Birdie. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Draft time, and although completely irrelevant to this challenge, I thought you might like to see that I chose Glenn Allen Hill Jr. as my number 1 pick.
Why are you telling me this?
Chase Anderson is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. On the other side of the coin, Adam Conley is out for 14 months. God damn it, I was hoping to avoid this. I call up Jose Quijada to replace the injured Conley, and here are my new pitching assignments. Midseason goals time, and the owner has mixed feelings about my performance. Granted, I did completely tear down the farm system and mostly ignored his requests, but he needs to get over it. Julian Fernandez is no longer injured and is sent to AAA. At the end of June, Pablo Lopez is named Pitcher of the Month. I'm honestly not shocked if you take a look at his stats in a moment. We arrive in July, still stuck in mediocrity with a 42-41 record, a .506 win percentage, last in the division. Honestly, I'm just hoping for a breakout so I don't look completely stupid in this video. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Nationals, sending Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Orlando Arcia, and a minor leaguer for Socrates Brito and Brian Dozier. I always liked Brito in this game because no one seems to want to keep him and he's a pretty decent player. I also demote Austin Dean and call up Eli White. This is my new lineup. Corey Ray is out for 4 weeks. I call up Isaac Galloway in his place. This is my new lineup. Chase Anderson's rehab time is up, and at the same time I see Heath Hembree has an unknown injury, so I opt to send him on the injured list to make room for Anderson. This turns out to be a good idea because he ends up on the shelf for 3 months. These are my new pitching assignments. The Braves agreed to a trade, accepting Nick Anderson, Jose Quijada, Isaac Galloway, Remy Reed, and a minor leaguer for Corbin Klaus, Blake Wood, Dansby Swanson, Nick Markakis, and a minor leaguer. I like sending garbage to my division rivals.
Do you really want to hurt me?
I make a trade with the Brewers, sending Chase Anderson back, retaining 15%, Brian W. Anderson, and a minor leaguer for Mike Moustakas, retaining 15% and a minor leaguer. We got the Moose!
We were told by the people that own the cabins we're staying in that they frequently see moose swimming across this body of water.
To make this trade work, I call up Thomas Burrows. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Finally, the last trade I make for this season is with the White Sox, sending Trevor Richards and 2 minor leaguers for Jose Abreu, retaining 20% and cash. Only did this because Richards is worthless.
You are dead to me. Nothing but scum. When I look in your eyes, I get inflammation of the bum. You make me feel putrid.
To make this trade work, I demote Eli White, but at this time I also discover Robinson Chirinos is out for 6 to 7 weeks. I call up Chad Wallach in his place. This is my new lineup. We reach August, slowly improving with a 56-51 record, a .523 win percentage, 4th in the division. Right now, our pitching is carrying us, which usually works out pretty well in this game. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make no roster moves at this time. Per tradition, I play the game after the trade deadline, and this is the lineup I used. Unfortunately, the only offense we could muster was this 2-run home run by Moose in the bottom of the 6th, but as you can tell, it really didn't matter at this point. The Twins go on to cream us in the game 12-2, but we use the pitching effectively, which again is the point, and Zach Birdie is suspended.
Could you just sit your ass down and be
Mr.
quiet?
Speaker.
Corey Ray is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Jose Abreu is out for 3 to 4 weeks, and I call up Eli White in his place. This is my new lineup. We reached September in much better shape with a 74-61 record, a .548 win percentage, 2nd in the division, and currently claim the first wildcard seed. If we can actually make it to the playoffs, who knows what will happen. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I call up Corey Ray, Julian Fernandez, and anyone else who might be of benefit. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. The Marlins go on an absolute tear at the right time and are rewarded with the 9-game win streak. Neat! Robinson Chirinos is no longer injured and is activated from the injured list. Heath Hembree has a setback in his injury and will be out for another 2 months, basically making him unavailable for the playoffs if we should make it. However, Jose Abreu is no longer injured and is activated to the roster. We reach the end of the season with a surprising 91-71 record, a .562 win percentage, and have actually won the division for the first time in franchise history, meaning no wildcard game to deal with.
Fuck yeah!
These are my pitching stats to end the season, as well as my batting stats. Obviously, the pitching was what got us here, which is definitely reflected in the statistics leaderboard, where Pablo Lopez has the most wins in the league. But taking a look at ERA, Lopez and Caleb Smith were 3rd and 6th respectively, and Matt Barnes was 2nd in saves at 37. Pretty damn impressive. We must set our playoff roster, and these are the pitching assignments and lineup I've chosen. We sim through the NLDS and sweep the Cardinals in 6 games, which is surprising to say the least. We then move on to the NLCS and...
Gout?
You have gout? Are you fucking 80? Despite this, we go on to beat the Dodgers in 7 games and have actually made it to the World Series, where we'll be facing the Indians. Would really suck if we lost here, but let's see what happens.
9. I think time for one more. 3. Oh my God!
Holy shit!
I really didn't think I could pull this off. I mean, I thought it was possible, but for someone much smarter than myself. But it just goes to show, if you know how to manipulate the AI in this game, anything is possible. This was possibly the most mentally exhausting season I've ever played, and I believe I set a record for most trades. So I guess I'm done. I'm finally fucking done. Thank God. I need to get out of here. I'm so sick.